Facebook has taken critical steps to prepare for the U.S. elections. They've more than tripled their safety and security teams, implemented 5-step ad verification, and launched a new voting information center. Learn more at fb.com/about/elections.
Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. We are continuing this hour with the 2020 lead. President Trump just arrived in Cleveland, Ohio, where in just a few hours we will see history made. President Trump and Joe Biden in their first presidential debate against each other. And sources tell CNN it could very well get nasty, with both men preparing ways to get under each other's skin. And that's, of course, just the beginning. The debate is happening during a time of crisis in this nation with so much at stake. The U.S. still struggling to get the coronavirus pandemic under control. It has killed 205,000 people in this country, infected more than 7 million. Plus, of course, there's a suffering economy, a reckoning on racism, a Supreme Court nomination battle, all topics tonight. Plus, the new details of President Trump's tax avoidance, as reported by the New York Times, will almost assuredly come up. And we just got some breaking news this afternoon in an effort to draw a clear contrast with Donald Trump. Just hours before the debate, the Biden campaign released the 2019 tax returns of Joe and Jill Biden and vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris and her husband Doug Emhoff. The Bidens paid nearly $300,000 in federal income taxes last year, compared to Trump's reported $750 in 2016 and 2017. Let's go straight to CNN's Caitlin Collins live in Cleveland. And Caitlin, Biden trying to send a clear message to President Trump here with this stunt.
Yeah, it's a pretty clear message of what it is that he's going to hit President Trump over in this debate tonight, revealing that he did pay those $300,000 in federal income taxes last year. Jake, that's nearly 400 times the amount that the president paid his first time in office. And a senior campaign official who flew with the president here to Cleveland, where they landed just a few moments ago, said they do expect taxes to be the first question out of the gate. Tonight, President Trump and Joe Biden will square off on the debate stage for the first time.
I am looking very forward to the debate.
With no handshakes and a limited audience, the two will go head-to-head for 90 minutes in Cleveland on the coronavirus pandemic, nationwide racial tensions, the economy, and a newly vacant seat on the Supreme Court.
Mr. President, who do you hold money to?
Trump will also face questions about a major New York Times investigation revealing that he paid little or no federal income taxes for decades, leaving his advisors scrambling to put together a response.
Joe Biden was part of making those tax laws over all the years that he was in the Congress. And so, I think that the president should answer it that way.
Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is among those helping Trump prepare for tonight's debate. Though sources tell CNN Trump spent little time formally preparing and resisted doing mock sessions with staff standing in for Biden, instead relying on sporadic question and answer sessions.
The president has had a few prep sessions with Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Governor Chris Christie.
The president has every right to take his head off if he wants.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Sources say Biden is planning to hit Trump on his handling of the pandemic that's killed over 200,000 Americans.
We're rounding the corner regardless.
In turn, Trump is expected to argue that voters trust him more than Biden on the economy. A top campaign aide also hinting that Trump may bring guests, echoing the stunt he pulled in 2016 after the Access Hollywood tape was released, and Trump invited 3 Bill Clinton accusers to the debate. For months, Trump has sought to portray Biden as unfit for office. But lately, aides have tried to raise the low bar they set for Biden out of fear it'll backfire on stage tonight.
Both things can be true. There are some times where Joe Biden is absolutely befuddled. But we also saw that 11 times during the Democrat primaries, he did very well.
Now, Jake, we do know that both sides got 20 tickets to the debate tonight. We know that the president has invited his adult children to be in attendance, but the rest of his guests remain to be seen. We'll find out in a few hours.
All right, Caitlin Collins, thank you so much. While President Trump has spent less than 2 hours, we're told, preparing for tonight's debate, about 100 miles north in Wilmington, Delaware, Joe Biden has taken a more traditional approach. He has participated in mock debates with an advisor playing the role of President Trump, strategizing how to put the president on defense. Here now to discuss, senior advisor to the Biden campaign, Symone Sanders. Symone, thanks so much for joining us. Let me just start with the obvious question. Dana Bash and others are reporting that the president is planning on bringing up Hunter Biden and going at Joe Biden for all sorts of controversies from his past. How will Joe Biden respond?
Well, Jake, thanks for having me here today to talk about the debate. Look, we expect that the American people actually don't want to hear President Trump attack Vice President Biden and his family. Frankly, these attacks have also been debunked. I think it's important for me to say. What the American people are interested in hearing are the candidates' plans for their families. You know, Jake, more than 200,000 people have lost their lives to COVID-19, as you all have been reporting over the last couple of weeks. 30 million people have filed for unemployment. This is really about how Joe Biden and, frankly, President Trump, what their plans are for the American people's families. And so Joe Biden is going to speak directly to those folks at home tonight about the kitchen table issues that they care most about. And what President Trump decides to do at this time, that's on him. But Joe Biden is going to be speaking to those folks at home.
So he's going to ignore when he or his family is attacked in any personal way, whether it's talking about the plagiarism allegations from 1987 or Hunter Biden or Tara Reade's allegations or whatever. The strategy for Joe Biden is just ignore and talk to the American people.
Well, that's not what I said, Jake. I said Vice President Biden is going to speak directly to the American people, to the folks at home. He's not going to spend his time on the debate stage attacking President Trump's family. Now, if President Trump decides to do that, Joe Biden obviously is going to defend himself. Look, many of these attacks, if you will, all have been debunked. You know, credible news outlet after credible news outlet, your network, CNN included, have debunked these attacks about the Vice President's son. This is not about the Vice President's son. This is about Joe Biden and Donald Trump. These are the two men who are on the ballot for President of the United States of America. And in President Trump's case, he is coming to this debate not as an outsider. You know, when he flew in today, he flew in on Air Force One. He is the President of the United States in the midst of a global pandemic. He has failed to put a plan together to successfully mitigate this virus. He has failed to lead in this moment. Joe Biden is going to use his time on the debate stage to make a forceful case about why he should be the next President of the United States. He and Senator Harris's plan to build back better, as we like to say, and really just speak to these issues that folks are really, really dealing with all over this country.
It seems obvious that Joe Biden is going to bring up, if Chris Wallace doesn't do it ahead of him, President Trump only paying $750 in personal income taxes in 2016 and 2017, hence the release of Joe Biden's tax returns, Joe and Jill Biden's tax returns today, showing that they paid $300,000 in taxes in 2019, personal income taxes. I want to play for you some sound from Donald Trump 4 years ago addressing the issue of how little he may pay in taxes and get your response on the other side. Let's play that clip.
Did you use that $916 million loss to avoid paying personal federal income taxes?
Of course I do. Of course I do. And so do all of her donors, or most of her donors. I know many of her donors. Her donors took massive tax write-offs.
So have you not paid personal federal income tax?
A lot of my write-off was depreciation and other things that Hillary, as a senator, allowed. And she'll always allow it because the people that give her all this money, they want it. That's why. See, I understand the tax code better than anybody that's ever run for president.
We heard a similar argument being made by Chris Christie, President Trump's surrogate, saying Joe Biden helped write the tax code. What would be the response to that? Because I think it's likely that President Trump will make that same argument tonight.
Well, you know, Jake, I think it's unfortunate that when faced with the question about taxes and, you know, the wealthiest folks in this country paying their fair share, Donald Trump immediately goes to defend the wealthiest folks in this country. It's no surprise, given what he said on the debate stage 4 years ago, that once he was in office, he and folks in the Republican Party pushed through a tax cut for the wealthiest Americans. Meanwhile, hardworking people all over this country, folks that maybe President Trump doesn't understand, are paying more than are just being saddled with so much debt, the burden of trying to put food on the table to feed their families. So tonight, Joe Biden's gonna make that case that this is really about Scranton versus Park Avenue. And perhaps President Trump doesn't understand folks in Scranton, folks here in Cleveland, Ohio, folks in Omaha, Nebraska, folks down in Raleigh, North Carolina, where Senator Harris just was yesterday, but Joe Biden does. And he is going to talk about those people and squarely put the focus on those folks and how if Joe Biden is elected president, he's going to hold the wealthiest folks in this country accountable, and they're finally going to pay their fair share.
How important do you think tonight's debate is? The race has been fairly steady nationwide, with Joe Biden up about 7 or 8 percentage points. It's a little closer in some important states, such as the one you're in, Ohio, as well as Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, et cetera. How important is it that Joe Biden emerged from this debate having been perceived as having acquitted himself well?
Well, Jake, actually, I really believe that this debate, nothing tonight is going to fundamentally change the course of this race. But what tonight is an opportunity to finally see Joe Biden and Donald Trump face to face and hear them each articulate their vision for the American people. We've seen town halls. We've seen on our end, socially distant events, and on the president's end, these packed rallies that are not safe and not adhering to COVID protocols. But we have not seen two folks together. And tonight, I really believe voters are going to get a snapshot of there are people voting right now, right? And there are people who may wait to vote until Election Day. But voters will get to see a snapshot of a tale of two potential presidents. One in Joe Biden, who is empathetic, who listens to the experts, who has a plan, who is ready to lead, ready to take on the pressing issues. And then Donald Trump, who at every turn has pushed the responsibility that he has as the president of the United States off onto other people, who has yet to put a plan together to mitigate this virus, although he knew the threat, and we are now more than 7 months into it, and is wishing it away. So we're looking forward to this debate. I think Joe Biden is excited to get up there, talk to the American people, and really articulate his vision, and that's exactly what he plans to do.
All right, Simone Sanders, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. Tomorrow we're going to be talking to President Trump's campaign communications director, Tim Murtaugh. With the pandemic front and center in tonight's debate, a new report raises questions about the president's claims on coronavirus and children, plus the desperate attempt to save lives and property as new wildfires erupt, and this time close in on California's wine country. Stay with us.
It's true when you're young, and it's true when you're not. Keeping up with brushing your teeth and flossing and everything that goes into good oral health can be a chore. So why not make it fun? The Quip Smart Electric Toothbrush rewards you for the work you do to keep your mouth healthy. Quip's technology tracks and improves your brushing habits, and you get points every time you brush. Use these points to get products and gift cards from Quip and its partners while enjoying a clean, cavity-free mouth. And the goodness doesn't stop there. Refills of your Quip's brush heads, toothpaste, and floss start at only $5. Free shipping, too. And if you already have a Quip, you can upgrade yours to a smart motor and enjoy sensitive sonic vibrations, a built-in timer, and pulse brushing, all for just $45. Join the 5 million mouths using Quip. Save with Quip refills and feel great about your smile. When you visit getquip.com/facts, you'll get your first refill for free. One more time, you can find that offer now at getquip.com/facts. Quip. Simple. Rewarding. Better.
In our Health Lead today, the largest school district in the United States reopened its doors today for thousands of elementary school students, but there have already been some hiccups for New York City public schools, including 2 delays of the start date and staffers in at least 150 school buildings testing positive for coronavirus. As CNN's Nick Watt reports, this comes as a New York Times report raises new questions about how much pressure the Trump administration put on the CDC to back up a political idea, the president desiring schools to reopen.
New York City, biggest district in the nation, reopened elementary schools this morning.
100% safe, 100% excited about coming to school today.
But nearly half of students have chosen to stay home for now, to learn online only. Staff in 150 school buildings have tested positive. The NYPD now handing out masks, hoping to staunch flare-ups in parts of the city. The mayor mulling reintroducing restrictions in 9 zip codes.
Which would be the closing of businesses on some scale and a broader closing of community institutions. We do not want to do that if there's any way to avoid that.
Meanwhile, the New York Times reports the White House put pressure on the CDC to downplay the risk of sending kids back to school.
What I saw firsthand was a lot of manipulation of the data, trying to figure out how to tell a story that was less grim than the reality really was.
It's infuriating, honestly. It begs the question, what's true? Who do we listen to?
Here's some truth. Right now, new case counts are rising in nearly half of states. These 7 states seeing all-time record high 7-day averages of new cases.
Schools are all open in South Dakota. Colleges are back, meeting in person. We're having events. We're having sporting events, things like that. We are a state that values personal freedoms.
More than 1 million lives now lost worldwide to COVID-19 and a wildly